Let's turn to Dr. Anthony Fauci now, a key member of the White House Coronavirus Task Force, director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, and widely considered the top disease expert in America. Sir, it's an honor to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course, we heard Jane Wells reporting there from Iowa. We've heard you. If everybody wears a mask, everything gets better. But COVID has become as tribal, sir, as our politics. Some will wear them, some won't. If we don't change and make masks mostly universal in America, what are we facing this fall and winter?
I think we're facing a whole lot of trouble. And the reason I say that, I think you indicated in the lineup for the show. And that is, we have a baseline of infections now that vary between 40 and 50,000 per day. That's a bad place to be when you're going into the cooler weather of the fall and the colder weather of the winter. In addition, we would like to see the percent positivity be coming down. And unfortunately, if you look at the states of the country, the Midwest, the Northwest, the states that you mentioned, including Iowa, instead of seeing it go in the other direction, down, we're seeing an increase in test positivity. So you combine an increase in test positivity, which is always a predictor of more cases and ultimately more hospitalizations and ultimately more death. And you combine that with a baseline of 40, 45, 50,000 new cases a day as you go into a weather system where you're going to be spending more time indoors rather than outdoors, which is a perfect setup for an acceleration of respiratory-borne diseases. That is unquestionably a problem. So that's what the concern that I have and that so many of my fellow public health officials have. We're in a bad place now. We've got to turn this around.
Dr. Fauci, you've been sidelined. Your briefings have been canceled. Your television appearances limited by the White House. Your words taken out of context in a campaign ad just the other day by the president. In hindsight, doctor, have you put up with too much?
Well, I don't know what you mean by put up with too much. I mean, obviously, there are a lot of things that are going on that you would prefer did not happen, like the ad, which put me in a political context, which I've spent my entire career staying out of political context. That's not helpful. But I'm certainly not going to give up. This is too important a problem. I mean, I've devoted my entire professional life to fighting infectious diseases. This is an outbreak of historic proportions, the likes of which we have not seen in 102 years. There's no chance that I'm going to give up on this and walk away from it no matter what happens.
Doctor, you're a trained scientist. Have there been times when you felt like, I just can't handle this? I know what's right. I'm telling people what's right. And then we're getting other messages that make no sense.
Well, that's a problem. There's no doubt about it. You can't run away from that. But that doesn't mean you give up. You've got to keep hammering out the correct public health message. If we do 5 fundamental things, universal wearing of masks, maintaining physical distance, avoiding congregate settings or crowds, as it were, doing things more outdoors as opposed to indoors, and washing your hands frequently, those simple things, as simple as they sound, can certainly turn around the spikes that we see and can prevent new spikes from occurring.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.